What's good on my conscious creators, curators, and cultivators? I wanted to come on here today just to talk a little bit of shit. I recently posted a post, and it was like, can you be addicted to weed? And man, it got a lot of responses. If you ain't familiar with that post, go ahead, hop down through my history somewhere on my page. You'll see it, and you can just read through some of the comments. But essentially, some of the things that people were saying is like, yeah, you can be addicted to anything. Nah, you can't be addicted to weed. You can have a dependence. And then a lot of people were talking about just like medicinal uses for weed. And then there was this one comment in particular that I really felt this one. Bro was just like, man, y'all don't know the chemicals that they putting in this pack, in this Zaza.
Smoking the Zaza, they go straight to the mata.
That be having y'all on a whole nother level, and that's true. They did the same thing with tobacco. Big Tobacco puts lots of chemicals in that product, which makes it highly toxic.
I hate to think in such callous terms, but if anything, we'd be losing a customer. It's not only our hope, it's in our best interest to keep Robin alive and smoking.
That's ludicrous.
Let me tell you.
You don't think that big tree companies are doing the same thing? How you think you got a potency level of 99% THC in a leaf when before when our elders were smoking pack?
Hijo de la chingada. Is that a joint, man? That goddamn looks like a quarter pounder, man.
I mean, you know, THC levels were significantly low. But anyways, I ain't really here to talk about that. I just want to talk about my perspective on this topic. Can you be addicted to weed? Here's my answer. You can definitely be addicted to weed, but your addiction to weed, you, my conscious creator, if you have an addiction to weed, it might look completely different.
I'm different, yeah, I'm different
from somebody else's addiction to weed. I truly believe that you can be addicted to anything. You can be addicted to love. You can be addicted to sex. You can be addicted to food. You can be addicted to all the plethora of drugs and pharmaceuticals that are out there that alter your mind state.
Peanut butter and crap.
You can be addicted to anything. Really quick before I go into this, I want to say, if I'm looking at it from a mental health standpoint and we're looking at it from like chemical dependency, addiction is defined as this: anything that is done compulsively over long periods of time that produce adverse consequences and side effects in an individual's life. That is an addiction from that standpoint. But guess what? I don't necessarily think that all addictions, in my personal opinion, create adverse side effects. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I was somebody who was once addicted to weed. And I wasn't addicted to weed in the sense that I was sitting there, where my blunt at, craving, scratching, itching, doing all of that. I wasn't looking crazy. If you looked at me, you probably wouldn't even know I had an addiction problem. My addiction came to weed when I felt low. I hated myself. I hated my experience of life. I hated who I was. I hated my body. I hated my mind. I hated the trauma that I went through. And so weed for me was a coping mechanism. And I formed a dependence on it. I depended on it to regulate my emotions, to suppress them, box them down. I didn't have to feel them when I was high because I just felt high. I know y'all weed smokers feel me. When you're high, you feel a lot different. You feel like, oh shit. But even so, I didn't like that feeling, but I continued to do it because at least I didn't have to feel the other shit that I didn't want to feel. I was addicted to food. Growing up, food was one of the things that comforted me. It's something that I had control over. When I didn't feel good, I can go make myself some food. I developed a severe eating disorder. Not diagnosed, but I just look back at some of my habits and my patterns. I would eat when I wasn't hungry. I would eat when I was hungry. I would eat when I was sad. I would eat when I was mad. I would just eat. It didn't matter. I would just eat. I was addicted to it. In the moment of me eating it, knowing that it tastes good, brought me instant gratification. It brought me pleasure then. But then I would look at myself and I'd be like, you just fat. Nah, why are you doing this? Why do I keep doing this? That's a question that I would constantly ask. Why do I keep doing this? I was addicted. But like I said, in my personal opinion, I don't think that all addictions are bad. I've learned to replace these unhealthy addictions, these ones that cause me grief and pain and hurt and agony, with ones that build me up internally. I'm addicted to professional development. I'm constantly looking for ways that I can develop this one right here and this thing right here. I'm addicted to that. And it's on a whole nother level. You ask people who are around me. Yo, I cut music completely out of my life because that shit served me no purpose other than reciting a song over and over again. I'm constantly listening to something that is feeding this thing right here. I'm addicted to my physical health. I'm so aware of what I put into my body. I'm addicted to breaking generational curses. I'm constantly looking for ways that I can create things in my life so that my kids don't have to suffer mentally, so that my kids don't have to suffer financially, so that my kids don't have to suffer emotionally. I'm addicted to that shit and I'm not afraid to say it. Not all addictions are bad, in my personal opinion. You see, the only time we think of addiction is when it's at our detriment. But we never think of how we can take our addictions that are negatively impacting our life, and that energy that we put into it, and the thoughts that we put into it, and the emotion that we put into it, and flipping it to something that can create prosperity and abundance for ourselves all the way around. So if you feel like you have addictions in your life that you're struggling with, here's a quick tip for you. Take that addiction and remove the vehicle. Remove the bullshit. Remove the thing that's not serving you. And place that addictive energy on something that serves you. Something that builds you. Something that will carry you to the heights that you want to reach. Not all addiction is bad, in my personal opinion. All my conscious creators, curators, and cultivators, I hope you're enjoying your day today. Because I know I am. Let's create, y'all.